Welcome to the Yellowjackets Hive. I'm Media Melanie here with,
And I'm Emily.
and today we are an
Back
exclusive video for cordcutting.com. And our topic is, what did Yellowjackets get right and what did Yellowjackets get wrong in season 2? And we've got some thoughts about it, don't we, Emily?
We for sure do. Absolutely.
Yes, we thought we would start. We, of course, posed this question to fans on Twitter, and our friend Kaylee, Elvin Ashes, cosplay queen, said, "Too many side plots. I wish we could have seen some of the cutscenes instead of the Adam Martin investigation." And she also said, "I loved the Lottie and Van arcs." And you know what? I agree. There were a lot of storylines, a lot of side plots, and I think the fandom, for the most part, agrees that the Adam Martin police investigation one was at the top of that list. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Anybody that I've talked to said that they just kind of felt like that was more like filler and like for the show as opposed to actual plot that we all wanted to get. I agree with Kaylee that we definitely could have benefited from seeing more of that cutscene in replacing the Adam stuff for sure.
Definitely. And that cut scene has been a lot of talk amongst the fans because, of course, we know that they ended up picking cards to determine who was going to be the next sacrifice. Yeah. And we didn't really get that context. We've talked about it before. Mm-hmm. We thought it was a big missed opportunity, but we know that scene exists. Mm-hmm. So we are hoping that eventually we will get our hands on it. They will use it in some other capacity because I think it's important to know specifically who was the one that suggested it. I think it was Mari. I think Mari was the one who had the deck of cards. I think that she would have been the natural first person to come up with the idea. What are your thoughts? Who do you think?
I honestly think it was Van. Just because of the fact that when we see that scene, Van is the one that holds the queen card up and shows everybody to show that this is what's going to happen. The queen card is the designated card, and whoever chooses that card gets sacrificed. And I also think that Ty might have had something to do with it too, just because before they show that scene, Ty is seen saying to the whole group, "We need to find a way to stay alive," and not her, meaning Lottie. So I think it was a combination of more than one of them.
It could have been. And we had spoken with Jenna Burgess and Maya Lowe also about that scene. We had found out, as we've played before, that it was the only time where Shauna actually said the name Melissa on screen too. So not only did we miss out on the context, but Jenna Burgess had missed out on hearing her name. She had actually gone to Sophie Nélisse and said, "Hey, can you say my name?" And she got approval from Ashley and Bart. They said Melissa. And of course, the scene got cut. So yeah, there's a few things we'd all like to see there, I think.
I would have liked to see that just because Jenna and Maya, they said that in that scene, we saw them like have a conversation and we would have gotten a little bit more context into them as people. And I would have liked to see that too, especially if they're going to continue on and we're going to see them in season 3, which I think we will.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And, just to wrap up Kaylee's other point on the positive here, she loved the Lottie and Van arcs. And the show had really been setting the table for Lottie to be this big bad cult leader. Yeah. And it didn't really play out that way. Yes, it was an intentional community. Yes, they did some culty things, but I don't think she was the bad guy that she was made out to be. And they did a really good job of delving into who she was, why she was there. And of course, the season ended with her being recommitted. So what an arc it was. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of season 1, we hear Susie say, "Who the fuck is Lottie Matthews?" For me, that was like, oh, shit. Like, she is our big bad. Like, she's going to be the one that everybody is afraid of.
And it didn't turn out to be that way. No. Granted, she was the one that initiated this ceremony, this ritual with the adults doing the card drawing and sacrifice, and she really believed in it. So it was an interesting season for Lottie and for Van. The introduction of Van, of course, was something the entire fandom loved. We love Lauren Ambrose, and from the beginning when we saw Van's shop while you were streaming and Thaisa walking in and then seeing adult Van, that meant a lot. Of course, we knew she was going to survive because the show had announced the casting of Lauren Ambrose playing adult Van. But even though we knew, it was still just such a delight to see her and Ty together, to see the look on her face when, she reaches the intentional community. There was just so much good Van content this season, and I think they nailed that 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. So, other Twitter friends, we had Jolie saying what they did right was reconnecting Ty and Van, as we just covered, and wrong taking that away from us. And of course, in our prior video for cord cutting, we talked all about Natalie and how, we didn't necessarily love the way they wrapped up her death. Or actually, I guess it was in the article that you wrote. But a lot of people did not love the way the Natalie storyline wrapped up. We've talked a lot about that, and we agree. It was kind of a miss, but it elicited feelings out of people, and sometimes eliciting feelings, whether they're good or bad, is a good thing, because that means you're feeling something. And so even if you don't agree, they're doing their job, because we're having feelings. Lots of feelings.
Lots of feelings.
And then Brenda Bren said, write the soundtrack. Of course, the soundtrack. It started early in the season, too, where we got the teaser with No Doubt's I'm Just a Girl cover, which was absolutely incredible. And it just went on and on from there. I mean, we got Nirvana. We got so many good songs. Radiohead, Tori Amos. The soundtrack was fire during season 2.
What was your favorite music moment from season 2?
Ooh, gosh, that is a tough one. I am still on the Four Non-Blondes. I loved the Four Non-Blondes when we got the introduction of Van. That was just such an anthem for me. Yeah, it was an overplayed radio song back then, but it really defined my teenage years, and it really brought all the feels when they brought it back. So Four Non-Blondes for me. What about you, Emily?
I think it would have to be Nirvana, the Something in the Way. I just felt that was so perfect. And even though I didn't like the fact that Natalie died, I felt like the Radiohead song was a really good choice too.
It was definitely a good choice. Completely agree with that. So again, they nailed the soundtrack this season. They nailed it in season 1. And I would like to see some sort of Emmy or some sort of recognition for the incredible music. We would, of course, love to get the music supervisor on to talk more about how they came to these choices. So hopefully we can cover that in more depth at some point soon.
Yeah.
But to Brenda's other points, utilizing Sophie Nélisse's talent in terms of what they did right. Yeah. Absolutely. Sophie Nélisse should be getting an Emmy this season. If she doesn't, I'm going to protest, because that birth scene, the cannibalism, the eating the ear, recovering from Jackie's death, there was just so much depth that she brought to the character of Shauna.
Yeah. And I read an article that Variety put out about the Emmys, like who might be nominated. And they're predicting that Sophie Nélisse gets a nomination. So that would be amazing.
It would be. It would be. Of course, the Emmys are, there's always a lot of big competition there. Succession, of course, is predicted to win a lot, but hopefully Yellowjackets will get at least one win. And by the way, nominations are coming out on July 12th. We will be doing a reaction video for cord cutting to talk about hopefully how happy we are about all of the Yellowjackets nominations, or if it goes the other way, we will be expressing our disdain towards the Television Academy for not recognizing them as they should be.
They put forth a lot of people to be nominated. So I'm hoping that they get at least one. I mean, Melanie's going to be nominated. We know that.
She has to. She has to. And she'll probably be nominated for a guest actress as well in The Last of Us, which I was reading. So Melanie, we're rooting for you. We are rooting for you. Okay. So back to Brenda's tweet again. She also called out the chemistry between Misty and Walter, Lauren Ambrose and Simone Kessel in terms of things they did right. And for me, Misty and Walter, I loved them together every single interaction they had from the very beginning, from Misty checking out his muscular calves to them questioning Randy. I mean, there were so many good Misty
Yeah.
and Walter moments. I want more Walter. I feel
Mhm.
confident we're going to get more of him in season 3, which was not the case when they announced the casting. We heard he
Yeah.
was going to have a 1-season arc. So we're hoping he's going to be back again. What do you think? You think he'll be back?
Yeah, just the way that they left off and the fact that he was the reason why none of them ended up getting in trouble for what happened with Adam. And it just feels like it's not over. Like it wasn't a concrete ending. We'll never see you again kind of thing. He definitely is coming back.
Yes, I certainly hope so. I can't wait to see how Misty is getting over the loss of Nat. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see their relationship developing, and how great would it be if he ended up being a series regular for the rest of
Oh
the
my God.
series? Oh, love
I would
Elijah Wood.
love that.
Same, same. So, back to Brenda's tweet. What did they do wrong? The flow of the last 2 to 3 episodes leading to the actual finale and the manner of adult Natalie's death. I do think a lot of people kind of felt that things moved maybe a little too slow or then a little too
Mhm.
fast in
Yeah.
terms of especially how the Adam storyline was wrapped up just so quickly in such a nice
Yeah.
little package at the end of the season there. So, that and of course Natalie's death were
Yeah.
definitely uh,
Nothing in the Yellowjackets universe is like clean, if you will. So I feel like there is definitely a chance that even though Walter did what he did, like maybe they will end up bringing it back because there might be something that he missed or something like that just to keep the storyline going. I know that would probably make a lot of people upset because the police storyline was not people's favorite, but I don't know, just the way that it ended, as much as I don't wanna see Saracusa again, I could see him popping up.
I could see that too. Maybe we need to talk to John Reynolds and get him on and have him
Yeah,
talk a little bit about being this unlikable character. Much like when we had interviewed Kevyn Alves, that was something we talked about, playing a sometimes unlikable character. I
yeah,
always think that's interesting, being not liked by the fans. But again, it
yeah,
goes back to eliciting feelings. If he and his acting and his character elicited all these strong feelings of hatred, then again, they're doing something right because again, we're
yeah,
having feelings. So two
yeah,
ways to look at it, I suppose. But
yeah.
our list of rights and wrongs, top of our list was the birth scene. We thought that Shauna birth scene was just incredible. Everything about
Yeah,
it. It's crazy they had to go back and actually reshoot the whole thing,
yeah.
which is crazy given that it took hours and hours, given how intense it was.
This episode was just fantastic. For being somebody that's never gone through labor, I can't imagine faking going through labor after going through actual labor, how hard that would be. And she did a phenomenal job. She must have
Phenomenal.
done her research.
She must have. I mean, watching birth videos, perhaps. I would like to know, more about that. I think she's maybe talked about it in interviews, but
Mhm.
again, it just goes to the preparation that she put into that. And,
Yeah.
same with another Shauna scene I loved when she was beating the shit out of Lottie. She
Yeah.
actually took boxing lessons for that. And I think that was well done too. It was so
Yeah.
intense, unexpected, and Lottie just sat there and took it. I mean, Sophie
Mhm.
did so many things this season, so she is right at the top of our list of the things that Yellowjackets did right,
Yes.
along with Ty and Van in the teen timeline. And of course, our introduction to adult Van in the adult timeline. But I mean,
Yeah.
how cute are Ty and Van? They have really grown their relationship in the wilderness. Ty has stopped sleepwalking. Van is
Yeah.
buying into Lottie's rituals. And they're just so darn cute. And of course,
Yeah, they
then we
really
get
are.
Adult Van. Yes. And the casting of Adult Van is incredible. We've mentioned it before. Lauren Ambrose, she's phenomenal. Looks wise, character wise, inflection, delivery, all of the above. She's been such a bright spot in this season, as have Ty Van as a whole.
Yeah, it's so funny too because Lauren Ambrose has said that she was a fan of the show before she was approached to be on the show. I can't imagine being a fan of something and then having somebody ask me to be a part of it. That would just be like so amazing.
It'd be incredible. It would be like
Yeah.
if they asked us to come and be extras or background actors or something in some
Yes.
scene in Yellowjackets. I'm pretty sure we'd be jumping for joy. So,
Yep.
hey, Showtime, if you
Yeah,
ever need
hit us
us,
up.
we're available. We are
Yeah,
available. So,
absolutely.
another thing that we think that they did really well was the chase scene with
Mhm.
Javi dying. I still can't get over the intensity, the ferocity, and the sadness of Javi drowning and going under that ice. Talk about feelings, Emily. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Ooh.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I very much viewed this scene as like Doomcoming 2.0. And because we see a chase in Doomcoming, just like we see a chase in this scene. And it always makes me think of the moment when Shauna tells Javi to run, too. Like,
Mhm.
that was so creepy. She sounded like a demon in that scene. And that chase, like, there was so much about that chase scene that just like brought me right back to Doomcoming. And Doomcoming was my favorite episode of season 1. So
Oh,
I really like that.
same.
Yeah.
Loved Doomcoming. Thought it was phenomenal. And you know what? We need to look into a Doomcoming 2.0 shirt design, which we're working on our shirt shop right now. So maybe coming soon. We will see.
Yeah.
Other things they did right, as we mentioned before, Misty and Walter. We both love them. The fans love them. I think everyone wants more Walter. Some people disagree about the human-sized Caligula musical scene. A lot of people loved it. Some people not so much. So for
Yeah.
some, that was something they did indeed do right. It was an interesting departure from the norm. It was very comedic, very interesting. Did you think that was a right or a wrong, Emily, the human-sized Caligula music scene?
I don't really think it was either. I feel like it's something that we could have done without, but it makes sense because Misty is a theater geek and we know Walter is a theater geek as well. And it makes sense for Misty to imagine her bird as a person because her bird was really her only companion until all of this started happening and she was put back into the world of the Yellowjackets and being friends with them and doing whatever she can to make sure that none of them get in trouble and stuff like that. So I
That's
think it
right.
makes sense.
That's right. And I've wondered if they've drawn inspiration from the show Wilfred, which of course featured Elijah Wood, where he was seeing his dog
Yeah.
as a human-sized dog in a human in a dog costume. So I'm
Yeah.
curious if there was some inspiration drawn from there. Loved Wilfred. That was a really good show with Elijah Wood. But yeah, for me, the musical scene could have done without. And I agree. It wasn't necessarily right or wrong. It wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
I will admit that, but I can see why they used it. So
Yeah.
yes.
For
But
sure.
overall, Walter, total win. Love Walter and Misty. We need to come up with a good ship name for them, by the way.
Yes.
Our other right was choosing Natalie as the Antler Queen in the final timeline. We
I
thought,
loved that scene. I
yep,
absolutely loved it.
the bowing, the way that she just readily accepted it. And of course, then Coach Ben was watching all of that unfold, and that
Mhm.
could have actually been what led to him burning the cabin down too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was well done. I completely agree. I liked that, and it's going to be interesting to see how that transfer of power plays out in season 3. Of
Mhm.
course,
It's going to change so much.
oh, it's going to change everything.
Yeah.
And again, we're speculating on what happened to, where's Ben? Are they going to go find him? Is Natalie going to out him? So many questions, so many
Mhm.
questions. In terms of the things they did wrong, we've talked about this before. Again, not enough explanation into how they got the card drawing scene. That was
Yeah.
kind of a big missed opportunity. We've covered that, but that was definitely the top of our list,
For sure.
along with the police storyline. Again, Saracusa, we did not love him, but to your point, it would make sense if they did end up having to bring him back for season 3 to perhaps unravel some of this neatly tied bow because it was maybe
Yeah.
a little bit too neat.
Yep.
So, and of course, Kevyn Tan died. So we didn't love that
Yeah.
either. I think if there should have been a police officer to die, it should have been Saracusa, but it is what
I
it is.
agree.
Another big one for us was Nat's death scene. It was cool the way they did the airplane scene. She saw her teen self, she saw teen Lottie, she saw Javi, but something she didn't see, or someone she didn't see, was Travis. And we
Yeah.
both think that was a missed opportunity and wonder, was it a filming scheduling thing? Or, as some fans have said, perhaps Natalie didn't need that same type of forgiveness
Yeah.
from Travis as she did from, say, herself or
Mhm.
from Javi. So I can understand it, but when I was watching it the first time through, I just kept asking myself, okay, but where's Travis? Where's
Yeah.
Travis?
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
agree.
that was kind of a big one for us. I mean, altogether, it was a good season. What would you rank season 1 out of 10, and what would you rank season 2 out of 10, Emily?
I would give season 1 an 11 out of 10. It was just like some of the best TV I've ever watched. Yes, chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yes.
And for season 2, I would go like 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. I'm right
What
with
about
you.
you?
I'm right with you. When you said 11, I immediately agreed. Yes, one of the best seasons of television I've ever
Mhm.
watched, drew me in right away. Season 2, I'm probably about an 8. I
Yeah.
think maybe even a 7.5. I loved it. There were so many good things. The cannibalism for me was another thing that was right. I like the way that they're easing into it. They're starting soft, moving to
Mhm.
medium, and I imagine it's going to get very hard cannibalism in season 3. So that
Yeah.
was something for me that they also did right. But there were also all of these side plots, the big police storyline, some focus in places that maybe I didn't love, but
Mhm.
overall, it was a good season, and we are all very excited to see what happens in season 3.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yes. Well, thank you all for joining us. We are going to be back with more exclusive cord cutting content coming soon. Be sure to visit our cord cutting Hive Hub page. It is at cordcutting.com/yellowjackets-hive. And don't forget to also subscribe to Cord Cutting
Yeah.
on YouTube, so that way you do not miss any of our exclusive content and all of their awesome other television and popular culture coverage. So
Yeah, this is only available there, so make sure that you subscribe.
yes, head over, subscribe. Uh, thank you all for buzzing in. We'll be back very soon.
Yes. So, until we spill again.